in the case of emergency, I decide to use this word to write it down because many of the real Americans who just had a very soft spoken English, they had a tendency to understand each other because of the tense differences based upon the actual connections and the contextual ideas. For instance, many of the words share the same form for past verbs, and there would be no difference between past verbs and past form of a verse, and a present form of verse. And how would they actually understand it? Based upon the contextual idea. For instance, cast itself is truly a cast in, past, right? How do they actually make sense out of it? Because of the contextual text, right? I just really feel very awkward because my understanding was proper, but I sometimes, mispronounce it, or because of a liaison, this would actually be stifled or silenced or never to be distinguished. But my perception was clearly actually connected to the real life situation, ongoing situation on the screen in time. I never had a serious difficulty. Let me actually demonstrate it. I really don't mind. Packed up in the new side of a living. Bisher sind die Produkte unseres täglichen Bedarfs von Verpackungen aus Kunststoffen oder Steifen umgeben, die eine hohe Belastung für die Umwelt darstellen. So far, the products for our daily life necessities are actually made from packaging materials or substances from artificial or styrofoam. They would actually likely to be dealt with the artificial man-made products as wrappers or packaging materials or bubble wrappers, styrofoam. These would actually all be very much demonstrably challenging. More specifically, these express a serious damage, dragging down the cultural and environmental aspect of our ecology by taking a toll on it, or letting our environment bear the brunt of this usage coming from our daily necessities, right? Deshalb arbeiten Wissenschaftler an verlaufend neue und umweltverträgliche Verpackungsarten, für die sich Naturstoffe verwenden, an die man in diesem Zusammenhang nicht unbedingt denken würde. Ganz einfach. For that reason, researchers work on this, already actually developed and developing, such a wondrously prospering new environmentally friendly packaging substances and sorts and kinds of materials as a new future industry, which would actually requires no serious thinking because this would actually be so necessary in terms of, natural substances that are actually being used for the proper usage in a package. By actually, using the organic substances, the one would probably never, unnecessarily or unconditionally in the broader context to think about. That's not necessarily the case, right? Pilze, mushrooms, und Disteln und sogar die Schalen von Kaven kommen bei der Herstellung von robusten und dennoch biologisch abbaubarer Verpackungsmaterialien zum Einsatz. So mushrooms and actual shells from crabs. Shells from crabs means, I just actually had a shell. So, crustacean. Let me actually say crustaceans and lobster type of shells coming from the crabs, or even mushrooms and fungus or moss. These are all actually organic substances that are being used for production of the very powerful and biologically degradable packaging materials, which could actually be a potential for usage of a proper consumer packages as a substance to be established in a product. Es gibt zahlreiche konkrete und tragfähige Alternativen, die eine große Zukunft vor sich haben. There are so many different, numerous, concrete, and lasting and sturdy alternative which have greater future ahead of time for each one of us. That would be so amazing, right? Think about it. So many of our researchers, currently work on this blossoming new environmentally friendly and acceptable packages, sorts and kinds for the usage that would be inspired by the natural substances on which anyone wouldn't not necessarily put much thought into it in the common context by actually, considering these products are scattered throughout the universe, saying that, oh, this must be helpful for developing a candy wrapper, or any type of bubble wrapper or styrofoam container. No one actually probably would have not thought about this before, because the original sentence is like this: for these natural stuff to use, technically on that issue, one would probably not think about this issue unconditionally in the broader context of this situation. Because, they already actually, people in general, they were really familiar with these substances, but not necessarily they would have received inspirations by looking into these substances to think that, oh, I want to actually use this for making, packaging, for instance, bubble wrapper here, this, packaging material. I just really want to use this coming from, crab shells, soft crab shells. I like this Thai restaurant, soft shell crabs. I want to take it off. It's not cancer. Don't try to actually say that I have to think about it. You know what? If there is, someone out there like Chonojin or Kimokito who's constantly actually, make their disbeliefs to saying that, oh, I just really need to think about it. I already have cited my own reason because of my mom's disease. I never wanted to actually make this issue. That was really the reason why I never actually wanted to say that. I didn't realize that that would have created such a backlash and a backfire that could have forever defame me. I didn't actually think about that aspect. But let me actually say that I don't really need to think about a soft shell crab. I actually had at this, Thai restaurant, Pupapong. This is really kind of Thai oriented, soft shell crabs. I really enjoyed it. I really wish I could have money to purchase this kind of product to make a great dish for my husband, Frederick Kleiken. This is really the great idea, right? But the thing is, no one actually, by looking into mushrooms, enokis or shiitakes or agaric mushrooms or portocini or portabella, there are so many mushrooms. Let me actually cite all this different mushrooms. What do we have? We have enoki mushrooms and shiitake mushrooms and agaric mushrooms, oyster mushrooms or white mushrooms or portocini, Italians, and one of the most favorite Italian mushrooms, portocini and portabellas, and what do we have? Truffle, of course, the truffles are there, so forth and so on. By looking into this type of fungus mushrooms, don't one probably think that they can actually make in a package, like surrounding this, wrappers like this? You think that it could actually create this type of package? It could actually be created for this type of form? No, it's not really the case, right? But there are actually certain people, researchers, who actually work on this blossoming and thriving in a prospering industry to bring about the new type of packages that had never been existed before by extracting a new substance, all natural, organic, 100% hazard-free, natural, organic resources that would actually realize the very brilliance by coming closer to the nature, even in the form of artificial man-made technology. But that would bring up the real plastic coming from all natural ingredient that would actually be less damning to our environment, because this would actually be biodegradable. That means, after a certain time period, this would actually all be returning to nature by being disintegrated and dislocated and dismantled, disassembled, because their molecules would actually be torn into molecules or atoms to be part of nature once more as minerals. This kind of procedures can be expected in the wake of a new technology that fascinated their minds to work on it at this moment. They're working on it. This is really the case. I don't really need to think about it. Who said that I had to think about it? Do you not actually believe that how quickly I have done this? You can actually pick out any interpreter who've been actually working on the environment. Think about it. You can actually pick out any interpreters who've been actually working on it and ask them, how many seconds have I actually truly used? Do you not think that this would be proper enough? At least I'm not actually behind the schedule. I'm not actually the one who's been actually making this in the Monday morning quarterback saying that, oh, I didn't really know that. Like, no, that's not really the case. Don't try to actually dump these charges on me. I feel so dishonored at this moment. I'm actually very serious about actually taking legal action to muzzle the mouth of those people who've been actually constantly following me, trying to dampen the future perspective of mine based upon their parochial and a biased prejudice. Now you're talking. Whose side would be more biased? My question is, lift up and peel up their eyes to let the whole world witness who has been greater biased bigots at this moment. That's my mission. Who has been much biased? Wer hat mir vorurteilte Idee als eine. Das ist eine wahnsinnige verrückte Idee, aber ein bisschen wie Heulerei. Das heißt so Höhlerei, right? Lass mich. Bin ich sehr vorbereitet werden, um mein aktueller Schritte zu machen. Diese Leute so Rechenschaft zu sehen, das wäre sehr wichtig. Normalerweise, das wäre eine natürlich geeignete Abmachung, um mein Leben zu führen.